guys, and welcome to Trucking Along with Kearsey. That's me, your positive voice in trucking. Mother Trucker Alex, formerly known as Asia My Show, did a video tonight about the inward and outward facing cameras coming to Prime. What he did was he showed a clip of the Prime safety meeting that Prime left up, they didn't take down. He showed clips of comments from drivers. I was one of them, so he spotlighted my comment that I did not leave on his channel. I left it on the Prime Inc.'s channel. So it's not like I'm being deceptive or hiding anything from Prime or anything like that. But in that comment, I said, in my opinion, I honestly believe that these cameras are definitely more like a training tool. And Prime has told us repeatedly that a lot of our sensors and our critical events are training tools because, after all, we are a training company. With that being said, in my opinion, these sensors, this AI camera, and I'm going to tell you some of the features of it in a little bit. I just want to get this out. My opinion is that it should be on the top 200 worst drivers at Prime. I'm sorry, I don't think it's any kind of like secret, but at Prime, yes, we have a top 200 list of drivers who are who get more critical events than other people, maybe who have more accidents than other people, maybe who have, or fender benders, incidents, if you will, like scraping a trailer, maybe people that get more tickets, things like that, hard braking events, critical events. These people are more likely to have an accident than somebody who's got 1 million miles, 2 million miles. We even have somebody here at Prime that has 4 million miles. So what's the justification of putting all of this technology on that person's truck? Okay, in my opinion, it should go on the trucks of people who come up with an arbitrary number. They've been here 6 months. You know, you're 6 months solo or a year solo, and then you get the upgrade and have the camera removed because you've already proved yourself. You know, somebody's been here for 8 or 10 years that has no tickets, no accidents, no scrapes, rarely gets critical events. I don't see the added stress of dealing with that and the distraction of that, because in my opinion it's going to be a distraction. They constantly tell us about not allowing distractions. So let me tell you what I know about these cameras that are coming. And there is going to be an announcement at Prime May 10th at the safety meeting about new technology. So my guess is, and I don't know this for sure, it's a guess, that they're going to announce that the cameras are going into effect. We've been asking for a different e-log system for a long time, so they've been investigating both the cameras and the e-log system for well over a year, guys. They've talked about this. This isn't anything that's like shocking for people. And people are going to say, well, you did a video last year that said cameras weren't coming. Well, they weren't coming at the time. You know, what are we supposed to do? I said in that video, Prime tests things for years before they decide on something. They tested, 50 of the automatics or something like that for 3 years before the whole fleet got automatics. They tested, the Volvos before they brought out the Volvos to made them more accessible. So that's just what they do. Would be cheaper to put them on the people's trucks who actually need them and could learn from this type of assisting unit. Okay? To the people who are going to say, well, I'm going to leave Prime, I'm walking away. Okay. Go look on Mother Truckers comments. Look at how many companies already have this technology. They already have it. And you'll see all the different comments. And what's interesting is you can see every company's policies are different. So we don't actually know how Prime is going to utilize any of this until they tell us, which is why I didn't see it was going to be necessary for all of us to stay in this heightened panic state last year, because we don't know. It's just like something happens in the news media and they say, oh, this person's accused of and going on trial for, and everybody convicts that person by the media before the trial. Well, you didn't see the evidence. Let's wait for the evidence. So people that are saying, well, I'm just gonna go someplace else. I'll go to Walmart. Most likely, really, you're gonna go to Walmart. Do you know how many people apply to Walmart? It's really hard to get into Walmart. And right now in this economy and the way freight is, this is not a driver's market. This is a company market right now. So, you know, people are like, oh, we're just going to leave our trucks on the side of the road. Okay. During COVID, you might have been able to get away with that and then have a job. Have an abandonment on your DAC, please. In this market, give me a break. You're not being realistic. Something else, fleet owners. These mini fleet guys are all saying, well, I'm going to take my trucks and we're going to leave. Okay. Again, we're spoiled here at Prime. We're spoiled here at Prime. Prime provides you with company drivers. Okay. It's not so easy to get company drivers outside of Prime. I've actually been looking. I've been looking at how much it costs to advertise in certain places, on certain recruiting groups, on certain forums, on certain web pages, that kind of thing. It costs a lot of money. So why would an experienced driver choose to go to you? Seriously. I mean, if you're gonna get your own authority and you only have a few trucks, if by law, if you have under a certain number of employees, you don't have to provide health insurance and workman's comp, 401k, all that type of stuff. So that means that you're going to pay me the same amount of money to go work for you, or I could stay here at Prime and get all my benefits and get the same amount of money. I'd actually be losing a lot of money by moving on to a mini fleet if they're keeping their own authority. Now, if they were going someplace like FedEx or someplace like that and you're leasing on to a different company, now you have to find drivers that company is going to accept. They may have completely different, benchmarks for what that company requires. They also may charge you for background checks and drug tests, which you never had to pay for before. Something else that I've been thinking about when I hear mini fleet saying, well, we're just going to leave. Okay, so you might have 5 trucks. You have 5 trucks. You're on one, so you got 4 company drivers in those trucks. So what happens if only one's willing to go with you? So you have 2 trucks that are going to leave, and then you have 3 trucks here. And then you have to try to find drivers for those trucks. And then you don't work at Prime anymore, so you really aren't allowed back onto the truck to run it or to try to meet people in the terminal to try to place somebody on the truck. I think it's going to be a lot more difficult than people think. At Prime, we have an unlimited supply of new people coming in every week to upgrade. Okay. It's a lot easier to find drivers here than if you go someplace else. It's not saying it can't be done, but have you thought about what's going to happen if all your drivers don't move with you? And how are you going to replace those drivers? And what are you going to do in the situation that you're not here, you're someplace else? So, looking through the comments on Alex's channel, a lot of these companies already have this technology. A lot. So, I'm going to tell you what I know about this stuff. What I know is, number one, it does not show the bunk and the passenger seat. It's coming from this angle of like the person's right shoulder and coming at you like this, so this part of the cab can't be seen. That is important to a lot of people. They're teaming, they're just waking up, they don't want to be seen on camera. I don't blame them. You know, spouses and stuff are on the truck, you know, they don't want to be seen. I'll tell you what is going to be interesting though. What's going to be interesting is some of these people that have too many heartbeats on the truck. Because I just saw somebody, now there's somebody on Facebook running around because this person got fired, had, you know, too many people and animals on the truck. And I just saw somebody that had a lot. Way more than the 3 heartbeats were allowed. Okay, even on a lease truck, you're allowed 3 heartbeats. The driver, 2 pets, the driver, 1 pet and 1 person, but you're not allowed, or you know, or the driver and 2 people and 2 kids, but you're not allowed to have 4 or 5 people on the truck, or 3 or 4 people on the truck plus 2 animals running around. It's not allowed. It's going to be an insurance problem, and you know, people like that are going to get fired. So here's a warning to you. I have a funny feeling things like that are going to get caught. Not necessarily because the camera's in the cab and going to be watching, but even just bringing it into the terminal to get the thing turned on. You know, it might, people that have kids on the truck, they're driving and all of a sudden the kid's running around and, you know, you don't know if the sensor's going to go off. So what else do I know about this? It's going to detect seat belts. It can actually tell if the seat belt's on. Okay. Apparently, like, if you have like one of those little soft cushion koozie things, whatever the heck they're called, that covers it up to protect your neck up here, if for whatever reason it does send an alert to Prime, then Prime can sit there and say, obviously that person has their seatbelt on. So it's not going to be a big deal. Supposedly, whatever you're doing, it's going to give you 30 seconds before it can report back to Prime. That gives you a sense of corrective action. If it says you're following the person in front of you too closely and you back up, it's not going to get reported to Prime. Okay? If you run a red light, it's getting reported right away. Okay? It's supposed to follow your hands. So here's my hands on the steering wheel. So every time I go to reach down, in theory, it should start beeping. You know, believe it or not, a lot of these smaller fleets, they already have them. I heard that BLC, that runs Prime's freight, that's out at Springfield, they're right down the next terminal, you know, they're on the same street, they use an office on the same street, they have it. And every time they take the hands off the steering wheel, beep, beep, beep. If you look in Mother Truckers, on Alex's channel's comments, so many of these companies already have this technology. So what are we going to do? Yeah. Do I personally like it? No, I don't like it. Do I think it's an invasion of privacy? I think it's less of an invasion of privacy than I thought it was before I knew that it's only on that driver angle. And the reason is that people will say, well, it's an invasion of privacy. You can be seen inside through the windshield in public. So if somebody's standing over there recording me while I'm sitting inside the truck, I can't go over and say, give me that video. No, because you have the right to openly video, and we are seen everywhere. We're seen at truck stops, all over Prime. You're walking around Prime, you're being recorded constantly. Our phones are recorded. Didn't you notice how you could say Corvette rally on your phone to your friend, and then all of a sudden Google's sending you all kinds of information about, the Corvette Museum in Bowling Green, Kentucky? So we're all being watched constantly. What the heck is YouTube? People watching you. I just, I don't know if I'm less upset about the invasion of privacy issue, because at the post office we were always recorded. We had directional microphones hanging from the ceiling, and guys on catwalks walking around with microphones and binoculars watching us to see if we were going to steal. We're watched everywhere. You're inside that truck stop, you're watched. So the majority of employees across the country are already filmed their entire shift. But we're special. And I get one of the great things about trucking is that you're left alone, that you're by yourself, that you call your shots. That's one of the things that I loved about it. And yes, that's going to hamper this a little bit. But I've always been one of those people that I'm not just going to freak out and react emotionally. I want to see the evidence and then make a decision. And I think so many people are the opposite. So many people just, they get emotional and they just start outbursts and stuff, and that's just not who I am. I want to see how this plays out. Now, if it comes down to, okay, here's my hand on the steering wheel, and I took 2 drinks, and they turn around and say, well, the average person takes their hands off the steering wheel 6 times in an hour, and you took your hands off 8 times an hour. Okay. That's going way too far. No, I'm not going to like that. There are already people talking about they're going to cover it up. They'll just put the visor down. They'll put something over it or whatever. Go ahead. See what happens. Then you're tampering with safety equipment. There are people that were saying, well, it's not in my contract as a lease contractor, so only put it on the company trucks. Well, guess what, people? There really aren't any company trucks left anymore. Not very many. 400 maybe, 450 tops. Not 8,000 trucks. So there are a lot of people saying, well, you should put it on the company. There aren't any anymore. I've even been concerned about a lot of these people that are coming in, and they're coming in with the sole intention of starting these fleets, these mini fleets, because there's really not a lot of company drivers. There's really not a lot of people going company. The other drivers really push leasing and don't always explain everything, which has always been my stance on leasing. Make a fair and informed decision. And fair and informed decision also means that there's something in the contract that says safety equipment cannot be tampered with, or it must be left in the condition. I forget exactly what it says, but it's something about safety equipment, like you can't alter or tamper with the safety equipment. And although it doesn't specifically mention that, it also doesn't specifically mention any other safety devices that we have. So, you know, and people are like, oh, well, get a lawyer. Okay, get a lawyer. You better find a really good one, because Prime has a whole legal team, right? And some people are saying that they think Prime is doing this just to get rid of drivers, that the more experienced drivers cost more money, so they'll chase all the experienced drivers away. That's not really true, because it goes back to what I said before. 95% of Prime are lease ops now. These all make the same amount of money. These all get the 72%. Okay? So it would be true in like my case on a company truck. I don't make 60 cents a mile. I make a lot more than that, even on a company truck. When you add all the bonuses in, that's what it comes out to. I just hit my 1,000,000 mile mark. So, you know, every year you get raises based on just being company. All company drivers get raises every year, and then you also get raises based on how many miles you drive. So, and there are actually a lot of experienced drivers that are still company. But honestly, there were quite a few that walked away last year when they start moving fleet managers around, because that was not a fun position to be in. You build a relationship with somebody for years and years, and then they're taken from you. And it's funny because I always listen to a lot of these other YouTubers are complain about their fleet manager, and how do I get rid of my fleet manager, and how do I change, and I'm sitting here going, man, I want to keep mine. Like, what the hell? You know, but we're also supposed to be getting, on the flip side, we're also supposed to be getting the e-logs replaced. Yes, they decided on the systems, guys, and that's what this big announcement is going to be on May 10th. And I'm going to wait and see what Prime does with the information before I flip out. Before I talk about walking away, I want to see how they handle it. Okay? Because this is already something that's been going on, where drivers have been corrected by fleet managers. And one person told me that it actually sends things to your phone so that you can see both the good and the bad. Now, I don't know how true that is, because I didn't talk to, there's kind of a friend of a friend type of thing, so I didn't get it from the horse's mouth. But I talked to several different people, and I forgot to ask about that. Once I heard it, I forgot. But you know, I hate change. I hate change. I didn't want to go from the manuals to the automatics. And one of the reasons why I didn't want to go from the manuals to the automatics is because everybody else was trying to scare us to death. It was like some, you know, they were just freaking out. And everybody was up here and all hyper with their anxiety levels and stuff. And, you know, and I allowed that. And now look at, here we are. I don't know how long has it been since I've been in manual and an automatic, 5 years, something like that. So now I've actually driven an automatic for a couple years longer than I drove a manual. I drive this automatic like a manual. And other people at other companies have said to me that they don't understand how I could deal with all the sensors already on the truck that talk about critical events and lane sensors and things like that. It's micromanaging. Well, you know what? I don't get critical events because I drive better than that. I don't get tickets. I drive better than that. So that type of technology doesn't bother me. But the idea of the fatigue sensors, my guess, and this is a guess, is going to be about moving your head around, you know, looking at mirrors. So are they going to turn around and say, well, you're supposed to look in your mirrors every 3 to 5 seconds and you looked every 7 seconds? Is it going to be that bad? We don't know. Nobody's going to know until we all actually get this and see what it's like. And the people that are saying, well, it's going to do this and it's going to do that, they're doing that from other companies, and all of these are different parameters. I went on the company website. I went on the manufacturer's website to actually see what it was, and this is not the same system that somebody told me last year. He pulled his trucks out of Prime on a mini fleet. He pulled the trucks out of Prime because of the threats of cameras last year, because he was told a model number and a manufacturer from somebody who knew, and it turned out that's not what we're getting. You know, I'm not just gonna like go jump the gun. I do that with everything in my life. I'm gonna wait and see, and I'm gonna see what the evidence, then I'll make some decisions. But I only made this video because Alex put my picture up there, and that comment was on Prime Inc.'s safety meeting. Sorry guys, I gotta get to sleep because I gotta go pick up a load, but comment down below. Let me know, does your company have these cameras yet? And what do you think of them? What's the worst part about having them? I'm so tired. I'm sorry guys. Well, anyway, like, comment, subscribe, and share, and I hope to see you out here trucking along. Thanks and bye.